Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome. We are so excited you could join us today for a special presentation of SkillCat, Unlocking the Future of Maintenance. Grace Hill's new partnership with SkillCat provides you with a broad range of online maintenance-specific courses and certifications that both increase technical skills and improve overall performance. As you are joining, drop us a note in the chat with the city and state where you're tuning in from. Add a heart if you are a Grace Hill or a SkillCat customer. As always, we invite you to send your questions through the Q&A box on your Zoom webinar panel. Our presenters will reserve some time to answer them toward the end of our presentation today. So let's get started.
All right. I love all these locations coming in. All right. We're clear across the US here. This is great. So thanks so much, Kayla.
You bet. I'm pleased to introduce Amy Cortez, Vice President of Sales. Amy is an experienced sales and operations leader with over 20 years of service in various roles. She's passionate about her understanding of her customers' needs and uses her business knowledge to help guide them through a solution that makes a real impact on their business. Next, we have Stacy Wolke, Senior Sales Executive. Stacy knows what it takes to elevate property performance and reduce operating risk in multifamily using Grace Hill Technology Solutions. She believes in partnering with her customers to understand their needs and deliver tailored solutions that drive success in their business. So welcome to you both, Amy and Stacy.
Thank you so much. Stacey, you can go ahead and advance the slides there, but thank you, Kayla. We are so excited at the overall registration to this webinar. And man, can we tell that this is a hot topic right now. So as we look at the industry, turnover continues to be a struggle for multifamily. And we're hearing a lot of properties that are feeling the effects of this, specifically on the maintenance staff. The data is showing that maintenance turnover is at a staggering 39% in some areas. In addition, we're seeing that 2 out of 3 people quit because they have the lack of skill development in their jobs. And 76% of the people respond and say they want more training in their current role. We're also hearing from properties that their maintenance technicians are really underskilled and they are, quote, learning as they go. This ultimately is really putting properties at risk for providing a very poor customer experience, which we all know leads to resident turnover. If this sounds like something you're facing, well, you are not alone, don't fear, and you have come to the right place. So I'm guessing most of you on the phone have heard of Grace Hill and maybe one of its products. If you've never heard of Grace Hill, you're not going to get a sales pitch today, I promise. But we would love to talk to you about our multifamily real estate focused products. We really focus on reducing risk through our policy management. We focus on learning and development and overall resident feedback through insights from surveys, mystery shopping, and reputation management. Stacy and I are not here today to pretend to be maintenance experts, because even though we might be handy with a screwdriver, we probably don't know how to fix the things at your site. But we are experts in listening, and we listen to our customers' needs and we help them find solutions. And today we're going to focus on Grace Hill's partnership with SkillCat, which really specializes in that maintenance specific training that really has an impact for many of our customers. Before we get started, I want to give you a little bit of a warning. You're going to be seeing Stacy's mobile phone emulated onto the screen. We've practiced this a couple times. It gets a little glitchy. It pauses a little bit. It's not the mobile app, but we wanted to give you live demonstrations. So bear with us if we have a few technical difficulties. We've also had Zoom dropping us a few times in practice, so please bear with us. We're going to pray for no technical difficulties. So let's dive in. Stacy, what is SkillCat?
I am so glad that we're able to tell everybody about SkillCat. So it is an accredited maintenance training, and this is a mobile app that's available to your team. We understand that your maintenance techs aren't desk jockeys. We understand that most of your team spends time helping residents. They're completing their work orders. So what SkillCat can provide is access to over 120 hours of training. So everything you'll notice from HVAC to plumbing and even your appliance repair. The training is available in Spanish, and your techs, we're going to talk a little bit about certification later, but they've got EPA training and some other certifications built right in. So next step is to get right into the app. So I am going to, as Amy mentioned, I am going to bring up my screen, and what you are seeing is my telephone. So it is my cell phone, and I would click the app. Your techs will be able to get the app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store as well. It is available on both applications. So right when you log in for the first time, your techs will get access to their learning paths. So you may ask, oh my gosh, do I have to create this on my own? No, you don't. We've actually taken that work for you, and we've developed, you will notice right here at the top, it says Maintenance Tech Year 3. I'm in a current level 3 to maintenance tech, but we've got everything from level 1. So those new people that are coming to you who have maybe never really done maintenance within a multifamily setting, all the way up to our year 4 people who are very experienced and are just looking to add knowledge. And maybe they're a supervisor who wants to add that extra know-how to their position to be an asset to their team. So on here, it says Maintenance Tech 3. This is all the training that is included in this training path. I am going to click on our heating theory, and you'll notice I was already in it. So it does save where your tech stops and starts, which is good for them because, as you know, everybody wears multiple hats and they're running around trying to get everything completed. There's a couple things to note on our training paths. You can see where we're at to completion of this course. Each section notes how long the section is. And you'll notice on Introduction to Heating Systems, I've already started this one. So I'm actually ready for the heating systems quiz. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this again because I want to show you what it looks like. When you click on it, it takes you into the next step of what the training is. And I'm going to flip my screen for you in 1 second so that you can see the video. Now, again, I'm on an emulator, so sometimes this little extra gobbledygook, I call it, is on the edge. So just ignore that. That won't be on the regular system. So this brings you into the training. Again, I mentioned that you can stop and start. So this one I've already gone through, but I'm going to click restart because I want to show you the beginning of the training. All of our training does involve pictures, videos, 3D animation, and we also have a voiceover on all of our training. Now, I'm turning that off right now. You wouldn't be able to hear it through my emulator, but I could, and I didn't want to have that voice simulation going through my ear as well. So on this section, this says Introduction to the Heating Systems. It gives you a quick discussion on the module and what they are going to be learning. And I'm going to click Start because I want you to see what your techs would experience. So it goes through, again, you'll have that voiceover, but it does give everything to read on the screen. Why do we need heat? And as they go through, they can click the advance button. It does automatically advance after the voice has gone through. But if you're like me, maybe you read a little bit faster and you want to continue on. So you can go ahead and click that. It gives you a little bit of history on heating. So it gives that background that your techs need. And as it goes through the sections, you will see they're learning something. And I'm going to advance one more because I want to show you that each section now has a comprehension quiz. If you're used to Grace Hill on the learning and the LMS side, you'll notice that this is very similar to our current training paths. We go through part of the training. We give them a quick comprehensive, just a quick question to make sure that they're going through, and then they'll move on to the next part of training. So what type of new heating was covered? I'm just going to pick one. We'll say wood fires. And then they'll be able to click this little check button and it will tell them yes, no, what it is. I got that one wrong because I wanted to show you on one what it would say incorrect. They'll click try again and pick the next one. So that is what a typical training looks like when they're going through. I'm going to go ahead and get off of this, and I'm going to go back into our training and flip the screen again for you. As they continue through the training, again, as I mentioned, each section has a quiz. If you scroll down, our years 2 and 3 always has a heating. You've got your final exam on all of your training. So that is going to be comprehensive of everything that they have gone through. They will get a certificate of completion when they go through it. And they've also got access to a discussion forum. And this is for those extra questions that they really want feedback from their peers. I'm going to go way back up to the top because I want to show you. You will notice a little button up here. It says skip to final exam. So you might say, hey, I've got a maintenance man who has been with me for 5 years. They're very well skilled, but I just want to make sure that they've gone through and gotten all their certifications. Your team member can click on skip to final exam, and now it will take them all the way down into the final exam section. They can take that quiz and that test and test out of this area. This is great for the techs who you've had a long-term relationship with. You know they've gone through training, but now they still have the certificate of completion. I'm going to go back into the main certificate program for year 3 because I want to show you something neat that we also offer. You now have a technician who is on the job completing some of these work orders. And you want to be able to say, okay, can they really do what they say? You know, practice what they preach. You'll notice on year 3 and year 4, and you scroll down to the bottom, we've got these little green areas. These are assessments, on-the-job assessments. So I'm going to click on this assist in refrigerant, and it's going to tell your tech what they need to do. So they're going to get a job to do on this task. So they've gotten a work order. They're going to upload a picture, a video, or audio file of what their work was that they completed. And they've got the choice. SkillCat has experts on staff that can review that submission, and it will go through and give them a badge that they've completed an on-the-job assessment. Or your team can do that as well. So we give you both options for that availability. It's just a really neat way to make sure that, again, back to that practice what they preach. They're learning and then they're applying. So we give you both options. And I definitely wanted to kind of show you that before we move on to the next section.
Awesome. Sounds great. So as Stacy kind of recapped, 4 different levels of training, lots of classes, all sorts of things that they're training them on. And the best part is that they have it on their mobile device right on their hands. So, you know, sometimes we hear the market is softening. So naturally, there's a temptation that people want to tighten budgets. However, on the flip side, we also see that pulling back on training actually has consequences, which potentially are crippling your bottom line in the long run. So I went ahead and I pulled some statistics from our Kingsley Index. Now, if you're not familiar with Kingsley, we have over 7.3 million residents that we survey. So I would say that's a really good data repository to pull some information from. Our data shows in 2023, and I'm going to pause here because this is going to get dramatic, but I want everyone to hear this number. 54% of residents will experience a maintenance service call. Okay, 54% of people living on your property are going to have a service call. It also shows that residents who get poor or a fair rating on their service, only 16% of them will become satisfied before it's time for them to renew their lease. Only 16%. So I'm no whiz in math, but I think I can do that math. That means 84% of them probably are not going to renew. That's really, really big. So what I heard was the power of SkillCat, as you were kind of going through this, Stacy, is that we really give them the in the moment learning. on a mobile device, which they know that they have in their hands. And we want to ensure that the maintenance team is getting positive responses on those service calls so that you guys can get a renew, right? So Stacy, let's kind of walk through that a little bit. What happens on SkillCat when the maintenance tech is on site for a maintenance call and they don't know what to do?
Great way to segue into our next section. So I was explaining, I've had the great luck of talking to many, many customers about this app. And one of the things I tell them is you're kind of looking at your hands. On one hand, you're going to continue to do your on-the-job training. That's your long-term solution. That is going to keep your employee engaged with their job and engaged in their learning path to continue to do well in their job. The other hand is the troubleshooting part. And I'm so excited to be able to show you this because before I was on the home and that was our training path. Now, when you click Explore, you're going to go into a section, and I'm not going to go into everything on this screen. We're happy to go into that more on a one-on-one demo, but I do want to show you the tools that your team has at their disposal. And I like to call this the expert in their hand, because typically they're calling sometimes a supervisor or another employee to get help. Well, the great thing is they can go right into our Explore tab, and you will notice right here on the bottom, we've got a couple different tabs that are available to your techs. They've got a troubleshooting tab, and I am going to click on plumbing. So I am on site completing a work order, and I have an issue with a toilet. So I'm going to click on the toilet, and I'm going to say next. Your tech can now enter the brand, or if maybe they just don't know the brand, maybe, they can't read it any longer. So they can either start typing it, or they'll just click skip and go on to just the general toilet type fix. From here, what's your work order? What is wrong? What is the resident in what is your tenant saying is wrong with their toilet? Well, I'm going to choose the one. Let's say that it has my toilet won't stop running. It's running all night and it's keeping me awake. Okay, great. We're going to click that. The next step is really neat. It gives you a picture video, and it says, here is a picture of that chain with the proper slack. So now I can pull open my app, look at that picture, and I can look at my actual toilet that is having the problem, and I can compare. Is this chain connected to the flush lever completely taut? Has no slack? We're going to say yes. Now it's going to take them to the next step. Adjust that chain or lever so there's a little bit of play. And it now gives you a video. The cool thing about this is right now, a lot of your techs are probably pulling their phone out and Googling, what is the correct length of chain in a toilet to make sure the flush is good. Well, that's wonderful, but we all know we Google every day. How many searches come up when you're doing that? We've gone through and we've looked at to find the best video for them. And it will actually show them exactly what to do. And then it's going to tell them we need to test flush once, and we're going to keep adjusting. So at the bottom, to-dos, is the toilet still excessively running? We're going to say yes. And it's going to continue taking you through the steps of what you need to do. So check your fill valve. It's going to walk you through the next step of is the float properly adjusted? We're going to say it is. And as you go through all of the steps, what I really like about it is then it checks, hey, double check your flapper. We're going to say that it is creating a good seal. And what I like at the end of our training, as it walks you through the steps, it then gives you kind of a summary of everything you've completed and how, so here at this point, you're very likely to have a malfunction with your flush valve. What does it mean? Do I have somebody who is extremely competent? They can click the summary button. Or if you have a fresh maintenance tech who maybe this is their, first or second work order out there, they can click the step-by-step instructions, and it takes them step by step through what they need to do to fix this issue. Talk about taking a load off from number one, the maintenance tech, but also from the other members of your team. They're not having to answer an easy question that can be answered right here on a video. So definitely wanted to show you that portion of it. I am going to go back and click on the Explore tab because I'm going to take you to some of those other features that we have available. You're able to do your troubleshooting on plumbing, appliances, and on the HVAC systems. So they've got a little bit of everything on there. And I'm going to click my button again. Again, sometimes my emulator doesn't like my clicks because it's a fake cell phone. But from here, as you go to the bottom, I'm going to go back into our troubleshooting tools. I really like our calculator feature. I don't know what your team is currently doing on site if they need to calculate something, but you will notice we've added a pool dosage calculator, a pool volume calculator, your superheat, your subcool, and your refrigerant diagnostic. I'm going to go ahead and click on the refrigerant diagnostic just to show you. I am definitely more knowledgeable on how the app works, so I'm not going to be able to fill in a lot of this information like your techs would, but it's really neat because now, again, they're not going to Google to find just some generic calculator. They're able to see one that is actually been vetted by experts in the industry. So from here, they can choose what refrigerant they're using, and they can start filling out all of their different information. Just a really neat way to, again, help them complete their jobs without having to go back and ask somebody else. I'm just going to click one. So we've got all of the calculators built in. I'm going to click back into our troubleshooting tools. And again, as it gets to the bottom, the next section we're going to go to, and let me scroll down here, we have manuals built in. How many of you have been in an apartment and something is wrong with the refrigerator and now you need the manual just because maybe you're looking up an error code, maybe you just need something specific to that model? They can click on the manuals and actually pull up GE and Whirlpool manuals. If there is a different manufacturer that you're looking for, let us know and we'll pass that on to our development team. But we also have the error code lookup. Talk about making it easy to be on site and not having to do a bunch of extra legwork. I'm going to click on the appliance and I'm going to choose a brand. And I always pick Samsung because that's what I have in my house. So I know that one, but we're going to pick up the Samsung. What am I thinking? You know what? My refrigerator is having an issue. So I'm going to click on the refrigerator. And now it gives me every error code that is available on this refrigerator. And if I click on the little down button, it tells me what the error code means, and it gives me a solution on how to fix that error code. What a way to make a difference in your techs, the way that they can complete something. So excited to be able to kind of finish up on the error code section because I think that it's a big part of your team's success.
Spanish and English too.
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed that on the screen.
Yes, and actually I forgot that. You will notice within our error codes that we do have the English, we have Spanish. And I'm going to go back up to the top before I turn it back over to Amy, and I'm going to show you something neat that this app does. If you go to the top, and actually I'm going to have to go click on my home section to go back to my learning path. But when you first enter the program, you can actually turn the entire app into Spanish. So as somebody who, my mother spoke Spanish as her first language, and I know that when she was reading or learning, she did like reading in her first language. It was a little bit easier for her. So all you need to do is click on this little gear button at the top and scroll down in your profile. You see right here, it says app language. You'll be able to click that, click Spanish. You're going to notice as soon as I click update language, the top heading changes. And guess what? Now the whole app has transitioned to Spanish. Now I'm going to flip it back to English because I bet we're going to have some questions and I don't do very good in Spanish. And Amy, I'm going to turn it back over to you and we'll see what questions we get.
I just flipped over and saw that one comment that came in is that this was genius. The app is genius. So I love that comment coming in. Thank you very much. So really, a couple of things, but as we talk to people on site, one thing always comes up, and that is the cost of replacing something versus the cost of repairing something. And it's drastically different. I think about my washer and dryers even at home, for me to have it serviced versus me having to replace it. And then if you look at it in terms of the cost of training, is far less than replacing that equipment. We had a property manager down in Georgia that shared stories of a maintenance supervisor who he had been promoted, but maybe didn't have the most maintenance experience. The inexperience at their property really, with all the outsourced phone calls and the replacing of the appliances, the way they described it, they cut through their budget really, really fast. And so something like this, where maybe those maintenance techs that are less experienced, or if you've got newbies coming on, what a great opportunity to put this in their hands and get them working on those projects effectively. So let's change gears just a little bit. Let's talk about the certifications that SkillCat brings.
This is a huge benefit for our teams. Right now, your proper certification, typically it means that they're going off site to do any of their certifications. Well, if they're off site, that means they're not completing things that need done around your area. So we offer, you'll see right here on the top left, we've got the EPA 608 certification. We have the OSHA certification, and we also have the certified pool operator certification. So those are all available to your team within the app to be able to do their training. Now, something else that is important, all of our training is accredited, and you will see two things on the bottom of the screen. It's by, and I never say this right, so I'm going to actually pronounce it IACET. I think it's ISET, but I just to make sure. And then also by the North American Technician Excellence, the NATE program. So now, again, I mentioned that all of our training does have the accredited experts behind it. So now you can feel confident that your team is getting trained properly and they never have to leave the property.
Absolutely. So I was just watching the comments, a lot of great comments. People are loving what they see so far. They think the app is genius. So all great stuff.
Yeah.
I know the first question is going to be, what does it look like if somebody wants to get started on SkillCat? Everyone wears many, many hats. People are restrained for time. So can you kind of describe what that might look like?
We have a great 4-step process, and don't you just love to hear only 4 steps? So what we are going to start with is we want you to determine, so this is your biggest heavy lift. We want you to determine, how many maintenance techs do you have? How many are you wanting on your system? We're also going to ask how many properties you currently have. And then your sales team member is going to go through and make sure that you've got the best plan for your company based on your maintenance techs and also on how many properties you have. From there, I mentioned earlier that we've got 4 training tracks plus certifications available for us to plug in. During our first kickoff meeting, we go through how you want to set your team up. I was actually on a call last week with a customer and they said, oh my gosh, do I have to go through all of your training and create my own learning paths? No, we don't make you do that. We've actually taken that guesswork off of your plate so that you don't have to spend time creating a custom plan. Now, if you want to create a custom plan, we have that option available. But if not, we'll move forward with getting everything set up and we will get all of your team up and running. It typically takes about 5 days to get our standard learning plans implemented into your company. And if you want to do custom, we'll talk with you, but it typically takes about 3 weeks of time. So that is the entire process, Amy. Makes it super simple.
Makes it absolutely super simple. Okay, we are getting a ton of questions in. So
awesome.
We are going to answer some here. And we do have Brendan from SkillCat also on the call. So we might ask him for some of his expertise in some of these questions. So Kayla, they're flying in. Can you like grab a hold of some of them and shoot them off to us?
You bet. You bet. So this is the portion of the presentation where we want to hear from you. We're opening it up, so please submit those questions. You can do it in the questions and answers box. You can also put it in the chat. I've been collecting them here behind the scenes. So let's get started. The first one is there a desktop option in addition to the mobile option?
Yes, there is. And I will answer this. There is a desktop option, and that is great. We typically recommend those for your administrators and maybe your managers. You're able to go in and you're able to pull reporting, and you're also able to see all of your employees' stats and what they're doing. We didn't show you that today, but we would love to be able to show you the live dashboard when we meet with you one-on-one.
Very good.
I do, to add on just a little bit to that too. I did have a stat, I pulled it out, but when a maintenance tech takes the training behind the desk versus when they're doing it on the mobile, the percentage of their ability to perform, to take that training and apply it was so much higher on the mobile. So that's why we chose to show that to you today. But as Stacy said, there is definitely options on the desktop as well.
Very good. Do you have courses that train for the new HVAC refrigeration law?
Brendan's already shaking his head. So not only do we offer training, but we actually, SkillCat hosted a live webinar. It's probably been a couple months now, I think, Brendan, but those are all living within the app. So your team can go in and watch that training and also hear what questions were asked during that training just from techs like them.
I'll just add on top of that. Yeah, we definitely will have training. We're just waiting to finalize that course when the EPA actually finalizes all of their decisions. So once the EPA finalizes, we will have a course for you on that.
Very good. Does this integrate with Grace Hill training? And if so, what does that cost?
Yeah, I can take this one. So currently right now, the mobile app is separate. We are working behind the scenes on the development that integration from an admin standpoint and to see what's being completed and not completed should be complete by the end of Q4. So that's kind of what it looks like right now on the roadmap. I wouldn't let that delay you from starting because remember that the power of the mobile is for them to have it at their fingertips and to walk them through those steps. But that is definitely an additional benefit that's going to come with the subscription of having Vision or PHQ training and SkillCat.
I think this is a piggyback off of that question. Do the certifications cost extra?
So you automatically included within the app is our EPA 608. That is completely included, excuse me, on our OSHA 10 and on our, and I'm actually gonna pull up my note here. So on the OSHA 10 and on the CPO, they're actually going to click a link within our training, and that will take them to the proctors for those exams. You do get a discount because you are a SkillCat customer, but they do have off app extra certification.
All right. Next question. If we hire a new tech who is not yet EPA certified, but would require it within a time period, can he get certification through the app? And would he have to wait on association classes and testing, or could he do all of that there on the app?
They're able to complete the entire EPA 608 through the app, which means they do not have to wait. Typically, we hear that apartment associations do training sometimes quarterly, depending on how big, and sometimes monthly. This means that day one, they can start the training.
Janine Hall, I wish I could see your face right now. Great question.
Awesome. Lots of great comments, lots of people saying this is incredible. Their prayers are answered. Lots of great feedback for this new product for Grace Hill.
Well, I will share, I was on a demo again last week talking to a whole group of people. There were about 10 people in the room, and they were on camera, but one person was sitting in somebody else's office, and it happened to be their director of maintenance. And my contact said, you can't see him right now, but he's over here grinning ear to ear and shaking his head.
That's what Janine Hall said. It's a gigantic smile.
That's
Let's
awesome.
see, did we grab all of the questions? I think
We have a few
so.
outstanding.
Okay.
Okay. Does this integrate with any HRIS systems to keep track of progress and certifications?
So, Brendan, I'm going to let you answer that one. I have had, and I know personally, I've worked with a couple customers who use an HRIS and they have a feed. But I want to see, I'll let you answer this one.
Yeah, it's an easy Excel CSV report that comes out of our system to upload and drop right into there. We can create an automated and scheduled to send to you on a weekly, monthly, or daily basis.
I bet Nathan has a big smile on his face right now too.
Here's a question about specific training. Do you have steam boiler hydronics training?
Oh, wow.
I'm going to let Brendan answer that one too.
Yeah, we do. Our strongest area of coverage is all in the HVAC, plumbing, boiler space. So there's beyond just the custom plans that we've already put together for you, there's a large variety of hundreds of hours of other courses that we have to offer you. So any needs that you need there, we can absolutely fit.
Very good. If the employee leaves the company, does the training or certifications that were completed go with the employee?
So the company is paying for the access and the training and the certifications. What we say, just along with our current, LMS system, is that is kept by the company. So no, the whole point of this is to continue to upskill your employees, because we want to create a stickiness so that they stay with the company that is training them. So nope, you get complete access to that.
Okay. And this one's similar to that question. If you already have some of the certifications, can you only take the ones that you don't have, or do you have to complete them all?
You can pick and choose from either type 1, 2, 3 or universal. If you already have your type 1, you can take the type 2 and type 3. You don't need to take all of it.
I don't know, guys. I'm feeling really good. I think we got lots of smiles on the other side here.
I agree. I'm excited that they're asking a ton of questions.
Yes. Stephanie just typed one. Go ahead.
Do you have wastewater training, lift station knowledge?
No, that's a good question. That one I haven't been asked. I'd have to go double check on that one. So good question. Schedule a demo and I can go through the entire catalog.
Yeah.
We can send it right over to you.
Stephanie, we will follow up with you on that one. That's a great question.
Yeah, I am going to go ahead and I'm making a note so that we can get that answer for you.
Do we cover Bosch appliances? Bosch brand.
Well, I would definitely want to leave that open to a higher discussion, because there's a lot into that question that I'd love to know more of what they're asking about. So
sure. Amelia, we will follow up with you on that one.
Easy one to answer right there is there multimeter training? Absolutely. And I talked to a commercial HVAC company a few weeks ago. After going through that multimeter training, one of their guys that have been with them for 30 years said, I had no idea how to use a multimeter up until I took that course. So someone that's been in the commercial space for so long still had so much to learn from that space. So I'm happy to answer that question all day.
And I will quickly, I just popped on my screen and just said, hey, I'm looking at a refrigerator, what brand, and Bosch does populate, Brendan.
Awesome. Perfect.
So there is a question that says, is this app a standalone and a Grace Hill LMS subscription is not necessary? Obviously, it is a mobile app. It is a standalone. You can purchase it together. There's benefits of having it integrated once that all happens. But yeah, you can have this as a standalone as well. Okay, I see some people saying I want to schedule demos. So that is awesome and amazing. Throw in the chat right now. Contact me if you want a sales rep to follow up with you as soon as possible. Obviously, we'll be following up with everybody, but if this is something that you want to dive deeper down into, you want a further demo, obviously our goal today was just to give you a 30,000 view of the application. We definitely can go down deeper into specific situations, the training tracks, all of the courses that it covers. And we would love to do that with you if that's something that you're interested in. So go ahead and throw it into the chat there to contact me, and we will make sure we do that. I think I saw one that says, just send me the contract. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere, right, guys?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's kind of talk about if you're on this webinar today. Stacy, you do get 15% off SkillCat if you sign a contract by the end of the month. So if that is something that has piqued your interest and it's something that you want to move forward with, thank you so much for taking time out of your day today to spend it with us and let us introduce SkillCat to you. So you do get 50% off for participating in the webinar.
And you guys have been great people asking questions, so they definitely participated.
Absolutely, absolutely. The guy who said this is genius, I might give you a little extra discount. I don't know.
We're going to get you on the app, and then we're going to ask for a referral just to give us a little blurb.
Yeah. All right. So I think that kind of wraps up our webinar for today. Stacy's going to put up our contact information on the screen. If you want to reach out to either one of us, please do so. If you want a sales rep to follow up with you immediately, ASAP, put that contact me in the chat. But we will be following up with everybody on here. And we also will be sending out the recording to all of those that join. So if there's other people that you want to see the webinar, we certainly will make that available for you. So once again, I want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. We know that you're all very, very busy, and we are so appreciative. If there's any additional webinars that you would like to see in the future, please always respond to us and let us know what those look like. If there's any additional products that you would like us to drill down into. So thank you so much, everyone. Brendan, thank you so much for joining us and answering the tough questions. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much, Kayla, for hosting us today.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you all.
Thank you.